Alcohol wasn't invented. No lab moment. No genius idea. It was already out there, in rotting fruit, sitting in the wild, making animals stumble before a single human ever tasted it. So the real question isn't who invented alcohol. It's who was the first to notice it was already working. Somewhere, fruit falls from a tree, splits open. Sugar spills out. Wild yeast, floating in the air constantly, lands on it. Starts feeding on that sugar, and as a byproduct, it produces alcohol. No one planned this. No one triggered it. This is fermentation happening in nature, completely on its own. It's been happening for millions of years, long before humans existed to witness it. A piece of fruit, left alone long enough in the right conditions, essentially brews itself. No container needed. No process. Just time, sugar, and yeast already present in the air. By the time any human ever tasted alcohol, nature had already been making it quietly, constantly, for longer than our species has even been around. Here's something that changes who actually gets credit for this discovery. Humans probably weren't the first ones to find fermented fruit. Animals were elephants, have been observed seeking out overripe, fermenting fruit specifically, eating far more of it than nutrition alone would explain. Primates do the same. Researchers have documented altered, sluggish behavior in animals after eating fermented fruit in the wild. This wasn't rare or accidental exposure. It happened often enough that some researchers now study it as a real pattern, which raises a strange possibility: the pull toward fermented fruit. And whatever it does to the body might not be a uniquely human trait at all. It may be something far older, buried deep in shared evolutionary instincts. Long before any human ever picked up a fermented fruit on purpose, other animals had already found the exact same thing and kept coming back for it. Long before any container, any recipe, any deliberate process, humans ran into the exact same thing animals did. Fruit left too long, softening and sweet in a different way, eaten anyway. Because food was food, and with it something unfamiliar, a warmth, a looseness, a shift that hadn't come from anything else they'd eaten before. This wasn't rare. Overripe fruit was common, especially in certain seasons, in certain regions, which means this experience likely happened again and again, across different groups, in different places, completely independently. Nobody understood yeast. Nobody understood sugar breaking down into alcohol, but they understood the feeling, and more importantly, they remembered which fruit caused it. That repetition mattered, because noticing something happens once is an accident. Noticing it happens the same way again and again is the beginning of a pattern, and patterns are exactly what human memory was built to catch. At some point, humans crossed a line animals never did. They noticed the pattern and decided to recreate it. This wasn't instant. It took generations of trial and memory. Certain fruit, left alone long enough, did something interesting. Someone noticed. Someone remembered. Someone tried it again on purpose. Archaeologists have found pottery residue containing chemical traces of fermentation, some dating back over 10,000 years. This wasn't accidental exposure anymore. This was deliberate, a container, a process, something repeated on purpose, not stumbled into by chance. That's the actual leap, not the discovery of alcohol itself. Animals had already found that. The leap was humans choosing to make it happen again, on command, every single time. Here's the part that flips the timeline most people assume. We tend to think farming came first. Grain bred settled life. And alcohol came later, as a byproduct. Some researchers argue it may have happened the other way around. At sites like Göbekli Tepe, one of the oldest known ceremonial sites in the world, archaeologists found large stone vats, built roughly 11,000 years ago, showing chemical residue consistent with fermentation. This site predates confirmed large-scale farming in the region, which raises a real possibility. The desire to produce alcohol, for ritual, for gathering, for something communities valued enough to build around, may have helped drive the shift toward growing crops, not the other way around. If that's true, alcohol wasn't a side effect of civilization. It may have been one of the reasons civilization started organizing itself in the first place. We like giving humans credit for everything: fire, tools, alcohol. But this one wasn't ours to invent. It was already happening in the wild, long before us, found by animals first, noticed by humans second, and only then turned into something deliberate. Maybe the real achievement wasn't creating alcohol at all. Maybe it was recognizing something nature was already doing, and realizing it was worth building a ritual around. So next time you raise a glass, you're not repeating an invention, you're repeating a discovery. One that started with a piece of rotting fruit and a species smart enough to notice. If this changed how you see that drink in your hand, subscribe.